Some voters in Scott, Clinton, and Jackson counties have a new representative in the Iowa State Senate. The seat held by Chris Knoyer opened up when she took the spot of lieutenant governor.
A special election was held yesterday, and this morning we are joined by Mike Zimmer, who won that election. Mike, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for the invitation.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, you flipped that seat that you won in the district that President Trump previously won. So why do you think people switched and voted for you?
Well, I think it was a lot of boots on the ground, door knocking. That was huge. And even though the wind and weather were pretty cold, we were able to get out and hit almost every one of our constituents' doors. And I think that made a big difference.
Now, you're the current president of the school board at Central DeWitt. You're a lifelong coach and teacher. We know you're passionate about education. How are you going to take your skills to Des Moines?
Well, I'm very realistic about any changes we're going to be able to make. If anything, I'm going to be constantly looking at bills and pieces of legislation that I can work together with my Republican colleagues on and move those forward. And anything that we might have some disagreements on, just ask some questions about, have you thought about the unintended consequence if we move forward with this piece of legislation?
And I think you kind of just alluded to it now. You are in a super minority when it comes to the state legislature. So how do you plan on reaching across the aisle?
Well, the first thing is taking a look at what pieces of legislation that the Republicans are moving forward. And again, those areas that we can work together on. I was elated to hear Governor Reynolds talk about paid family leave for state workers. That is absolutely something that we want to work together with. And there are many other pieces of legislation that we can work together with.
Now, you're representing a unique district there in District 35 with 3 different places made up of different kind of people in 3 different counties. How will you represent the voters there?
Well, I think the bottom line is making sure to get out to visit with people, and when pieces of legislation come before me, that is turning back to the Scott County, Clinton County, and Jackson County voters and asking, what is your opinion, where are you at with this? And we have a whole bunch of different areas, of whether it's water quality, whether it's education, whether it's economic development. It is reaching out to those people that are going to be directly impacted by that and saying, where do we fit? How does this help improve our situation?
Now, I know you've talked about the cost of living. I think it's something that most people are talking about these days, talking about lowering the cost of living. What are some of your plans to address that?
Well, I think we've talked a lot about whether something is an expense or whether it's an investment. We talk easily about, oh, we're going to invest in bridges and roads and that kind of stuff. But the other piece that we often miss out is, instead of an expense, is an investment in people, whether that be child care, paid family leave, raising the minimum wage. Those are all investments in people. And I say that because my parents and grandparents invested in me when I went to college, where the tuition, 70% of the tuition, was taken on by the taxpayers of Iowa. If not for that, not for that investment in myself, I wouldn't even be here talking to you.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
You're very welcome.